3, 2, 1, action! Anyway, I apologize if you can hear the 3 7-year-olds upstairs making far too much noise. I will try to talk over that ruckus. Anyway, what was I going to say today? Oh, yeah, so I was there on Zoom last Wednesday at noon, and nobody joined. And then because there was like 800 things going on here, I didn't like do a little kind of overview like this and then post it. So if that was a problem for anyone, speak up. Otherwise, I'm going to assume if I don't hear anything that wasn't necessary, and then I don't have to do it. I mean, it's not like a big deal, but all of us, I'm sure, would love to like cross things off the list if they're not helping anyone. If you're doing things that don't make any difference in the world, do something else. That's what I would like to do as well. So I will absolutely be on Zoom during that time as my office hours and totally available for anybody that wants a little extra help or support. But I'm going to assume, unless I hear otherwise, that you don't need me to go over any of the content with you like I had been doing, because I'm kind of doing that right now, and hopefully this is helpful. Okay, so moving right along, since there's a 15-minute limit on these screencast-o-matics. Chapter 8, we're moving into nervous system, human reproduction, growth, and development. And part of what we are covering in this is maternal and child health, and the outcomes of maternal outcomes and child mortality outcomes, infant mortality outcomes, based on some big kind of sociological effects and how that manifests itself in maternal health outcomes. It's kind of relevant to today, very relevant to conversations about systemic racism, which apparently some politicians feel doesn't exist. But I would reckon to guess that if you are mostly, it seems, not every single person who is not Caucasian experiences systemic racism or has in their life, but I'm pretty shocked that anybody would say it doesn't exist. Mostly people who never experienced it, I think, would say it doesn't exist, but I'm getting on a soapbox now because it's close to the elections and I need to hop off the soapbox and talk about the nervous system. Mine is a little like zing lately, a lot because of the election, but anyway, nervous system. I hope. I got decent results from people submitting their stress reduction data. And in my quick little scan, as I tried to clean up the data set to get rid of all your personal information so nobody can tell who you are, I noticed that it seemed like mostly people had reduced stress at the end of that week. And I really hope that you use that project as a way to to think about lifestyle change. Like if you don't have a meditation practice or don't have an exercise practice and you notice that it helped you out, like keep it up. It takes, I think, at least 3 weeks before something becomes a habit. So keep it up. Okay, so we've got some soft chalks that go over the basics of these different systems. A note is that occasionally soft chalk does weird stuff. Like you click the last thing, which is supposed to send your score to Canvas, but it doesn't. In that case, please take a screenshot. If you don't know how to take a screenshot on your computer, I think I actually Googled it to find out. Shift, Command 4, but your computer is different than mine, perhaps. Take a picture on your phone and then send me that picture. That makes it so easy. I can just go into Canvas and punch your score in. So just have a little backup in case soft chalk is weird. And then we get into maternal and child health. This used to be a lecture. It was one of my favorite lectures, but now it's modified to be in Canvas. But it's still a really, really powerful example of some of the real physiological impacts of race in this country. So you are divided into sections, and you should be able to see that section. If you go to groups over here, you should have a group that it's named 8. You might only see part of the name over here as one of the choices, but if you click on that choice, 8 maternal section, then it will you'll be able to see it like at the top of the page, because that's like a Canvas page just for your group, and it should have the full name up there, and you can see which section you're supposed to read. Okay, so a short little video there to watch and learn a little bit about that. Hey, isn't she a famous lady? I think that's Serena Williams, right? Famous tennis player. Shows you how much pop culture I know about. Here is the paper, The Color of Health, How Racism, Segregation, and Inequality Affect the Health and well-being of preterm infants and their families. So premature babies, babies that are born before the normal gestational time would be, okay? So the different sections: introduction, risk assessment, quality of care, socioeconomic disadvantages, and then finally the discussion. And so I truncated some of those names, but they're all up there, right? So you read that section, and then this is due by Thursday. 4 to 6 bullet points, so that means that you should put bullet points in your reply, right? Because it says it right there if you're reading the instructions carefully. Just a little Eddie Van Halen thing to put in. It's like the, whether it was green or brown, the M&Ms. You know about that? That they put in their contract that they didn't want any of a certain color of M&M, which seems like, why would they do that? That's so jerky. But really it was to make sure that everyone had read the contract, because they had all kinds of crazy, expensive and heavy stage set stuff. So if they got to the dressing room and there were the color of M&Ms that they said weren't supposed to be there, then they knew that they might be actually in danger because of heavy equipment could fall, because whoever was managing the venue had not read the contract carefully. So why did I mention that? Partly because Eddie Van Halen just died, and he was a PCC alum. You might not have known that, but also because right here it says in 4 to 6 bullet points. So if you just start writing a bunch of paragraphs, and some of you, not very many though, like didn't even break your persuasive letter into paragraphs. It was just like a giant chunk of text, also with no citations, I might add. They're right there. I know that you didn't read the directions carefully. Okay, so read the directions. Write 2 to 3 sentence summary at the end of the section of the specific section you read, and then vocabulary words that helped you or others to know what that section was about, and then questions you might have. Okay, that's pretty normal stuff, the kind of things that we've been doing. And then, this is predictable. Oops, sorry, I didn't mention it. After that, of course, then you'll be sharing what you read by Sunday night. So these are groups where they're supposed to be. It's so helpful, guys, if you do the work. You don't even know how much your contribution helps others in the class. Okay, it's not just about you. So please, if you're not going to do it for you, do it for the other people in your group. So then you'll be in a group with other people who read different sections of that paper, and then you'll help them understand your section by sharing what you read. And then here's a KPCC story. So this is audio on the LA County's plan to shrink that infant mortality gap that you will be an expert in after having read that paper and the preamble to the paper. And then normally, just like normal, a little quiz about all that kind of stuff. Now do make sure, oh yeah, that you listen to this before you do the check yourself, because there are parts of this that you'll be quizzed on right there. And then we move right ahead. Okay, and this is where we're going to do the analysis for that, the data analysis. So let's just quickly go over, quickly go over that page. So yes, the stress reduction experiment. I just combined the data from these classes, and I hope, if I did it correctly, that this right here will actually allow you to it'll prompt you to download the Google Sheet. Okay, and it has both the two classes put together, so you have a little bit bigger data set, which makes your data analysis a little more robust. If it doesn't work, whoever does that first, please let me know as soon as you can, because I hope it's going to work. Anyway, I had to change the word edit to the word copy, and I've never done that on a Google link before, so one hopes. So did it actually reduce your stress, right? So it's not just about you, because that would be anecdote, which is okay, but what we're looking for is data, because data is a lot more robust than an anecdote. So here we have, I don't remember how many people on the spreadsheet, like maybe 40 or something. So that's not a large data set, but it's better than just you is an anecdote, okay? So for the hypothesis is that it will reduce stress. So now we need to look and compare people's stress reports numbers before the treatment and after the treatment. And then it also asks you to divide those into the people who did the exercise, 20 minutes of exercise, and the mindfulness, and then make a bar graph that would have you comparing the exercise compared to mindfulness practice on stress reduction. So here we go, and it actually tells you how to do, there we go, yes, create a bar graph to compare the average reduction, okay? So we're looking at, let me just get this straight. You know what? I am going to get this straight, because here I'm saying averages before and after treatment. Yes, indeed. Okay. Aha. There we go. So what I'm thinking that we're going to do is have multiple bar graphs. It would be the average, like exercise would be like blue and mindfulness would be red, and you'd see before and after average scores, I think. And I'll probably have to send an announcement to clarify that, because this is the most up-to-date information that I have. This is a new thing, by the way, so I'm not just like, whoa, I really don't think very much. So I'm also learning as we go along when I get the instructions. So like, do this. I'm like, okay, I think I'll try. So you're going to make a graph, and I'm going to hope that, well, that's not even one of our people, it's somebody else, that this is just going to tell you how to make a bar graph. So I'm going to get straight on that so that I can help you. Anyway, but here is the Google Sheet that you're supposed to be able to use. I modified the names just to make them shorter. So here's the treatment. You'll be able to sort also, so you can get all the mindfulness people together and all the exercise people together. If someone was in the mindfulness, it just says NA for exercise intensity, because that didn't matter to them. And you can also, then you'll be able to see also for the exercise treatment, what people, what intensity of exercise they did, and then the before and after too. Whoever that is, they are very chill. Anyway, I mean, this is looking like pretty clear, but we don't know until we see the data. Okay, so average stress scores before and after treatment for the mindfulness. Make a table in Google Sheets with these labels and 4 values. Create a bar graph to compare the averages. Okay, so that looks like you'd have 4 bars, although I'm thinking the reduction, anyway, whatever, I'll just try to think less. And then finally, the last thing is the write-up. So here's where you get into a little bit of the backstory about your own experience, and it's fine to say, this didn't really do anything for me. The point is just to share your own experience. How likely will you be to continue this? We hope you'll be very likely. We hope you noticed a difference and that it helped. Copy and paste your graph. Summarize the results of your data analyst. So this is where you put it into text. You explain it, even though it's right there in a graph form. And then right here, using at least one source. So keep in mind that for me, your instructor, like one source, if you're doing research, is insufficient. But here you're just trying to find a source that supports an assertion. So this part is not the research part. You're not writing a full lab report, like a research paper on this. So in this case, one reference, but make sure it's a good academic reference, please. Not somebody's blog, not an opinion piece, not a newspaper article. Okay? And then there we go. A variable that we did not control. So control means, like in a lab experiment, you make everything the same between all the groups. So what's a variable that might have influenced these results that we didn't control for? We couldn't make it the same because you guys are out living your life. So what's something you think might have influenced the results that's not part of the study? And then normal stuff, like if we were going to do this again, how could we improve it? What other questions arise? And then you'll see right down here is the grading rubric. There we go. So the graph, by the way, it needs to be embedded in there. So please don't make, when you submit your assignments, please don't add it like an attachment. Sometimes students do that, because otherwise I'm having to download all this stuff on my computer and then I have to go delete it later. Like I don't have a super fancy computer. So please, if you follow the instructions, it tells you what to do. And it makes life easier for me also. It's good. Anyway, I hope this is clear. I think it's kind of an interesting thing to be able to analyze and look and see if the results make a difference. Maybe it will make a difference for you and your choices. Okay, I hope the week is good and smooth and the politics is without any huge major life disruptions. Bye.